My name is Nathaniel Clayton. I grew up in Sandy Ridge, Alabama, which is south of Montgomery. In 1960, I graduated from Calhoun High School. Was accepted at Tuskegee in engineering, and I didn't have a car, but I was young and I needed to get back and forth from Tuskegee to Sandy Ridge, and I would take the Greyhound bus from Tuskegee to Sandy Ridge for the weekends, and that bus would stop in Montgomery on the way to Sandy Ridge. I had heard about, the Freedom Riders. I knew what was going on, but somehow I never connected it with myself and my bus trip home. It was a Friday afternoon. Class ended. I made my way to the Tuskegee bus station, got on the bus, and for my trip to Montgomery. Pulled into Montgomery, and at the time they had the colored waiting room, which was basically the baggage room with a little window where you could order food if you were here long enough, and also, of course, the white waiting room, and I could just look through the glass doors to see what was inside. They had counters and tables and whatever. This was not my first trip, so I felt reasonably comfortable with the bus. As we were getting off of the bus, I noticed people outside, but I didn't really understand, why such a crowd. And as I was coming down the steps of the bus, there was a row of white gentlemen, and I use gentlemen loosely. They were standing there with axe handles, and I think my heart stopped. I'm not sure. I had to make a decision what I should do. It was never my intention at the time to try to desegregate the waiting room, but apparently these gentlemen were waiting for Freedom Riders. I quickly turned left rather than go straight ahead to the white waiting room. I went off to the side. I waited outside. I didn't like to go in a colored waiting room because it was dirty and bags, and it was just not a nice place to be. So I waited off to the side until it was time to get on the bus again. And I got on the bus, and I went on home scared to death. It was a very long time before I told my parents about it. I even got the bus back to Tuskegee. So I went into sort of denial. And but coming back here today, it sort of brought it all back, seeing the pictures. Shortly after then, I never took the bus again. I found other ways to get home, or I just stayed at school until I was able to get a car. But that's my story, and I hope it helps somebody understand what we went through in the 60s.